All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the elder bishops, the elders, who rule very well, very beautifully. Double salutations to the Akim and her pushing this gospel in truth and in sincerity, to the best of their ability, given to them by Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect scattered abroad. May the election of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, fall upon your houses. This is the brother Quanah Watts from the Arizona Great Millstone Camp. Come back at you, Lord will, with the edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Lord will. It is edifying. Lord will, it is straight to the point. Earlier I was just meditating, on just prophecy, man. Right, prophecy unfolding. Right, we're in the time, of Jacob's trouble. Right, the hour of temptation. Right, Jeremiah 30 and verse 7, Revelations 3 and 10. Right, as well as Revelations 13 and verse 16 and 17. Right, which is the mandatory implementation of the RFID micro CHIP, which is the mark of the beast. And again, just meditating right on that prophecy and these things coming to pass. And how things about to get a hell of a lot worse. Right, even though we constantly are dealing with different afflictions and trials and tribulations right on the daily as we walk on this path. Shit is about to only get worse. So we have to keep in mind that these things that we go through are really just to build us, right, to purge us of that old man and to build us and to strengthen us right into those true warriors, right, that Yahweh Shemel Shai is forming us to be. I was meditating on, through the spirit, man, and, a quote came right to my mind, man. True warriors don't fight easy fights, because an easy fight is not going to challenge, right, a warrior to, to become better. It's not going to exploit any kind of skill, right? It's not going to challenge any kind of skill for that warrior. Right, a true warrior only, is going to fight a fight that is going to be hard, or going to be challenging, right? So that he can conquer, so that he can win and overcome. And that's how we have to be through the spirit, right? This is not an easy walk, right? It's not meant to be, right? We're going to constantly be going through it, right? As we read right here in 2 Thessalonians 3 and 3, that no man should be moved by these afflictions. For yourselves know that we are appointed thereunto. So as we walk on this path, we're appointed unto, different trials and tests, tribulations, chastisements, afflictions, loss, all these different things, right? Sirach, the 2nd chapter, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation, man. I also want to jump to this right here, right, which is further proof, right, that this path it's a tough path, right? This is Matthew 7 and verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate, right? We're going to grab that word straight. It says, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. So those that walk on that easy path, that, spoonful fed, ass path, right? To have it easy, right? They're going to be destroyed, man. Right, that's not a path that we should want to take. That's why it says enter in at the straight gate, right? The straight and narrow path, right? Because it's the preferred path. Why? Verse 14, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way that leadeth unto life, right? That's a great reward, right? That's a great reward. And there's also another saying in the world, I've heard the elder Tazabah speak on it as well, right? That great risk equal great rewards, right? You ultimately, sacrificing your time, you ultimately willing to deal right with the bullshit, and have to get in the mud, is going to ultimately require, going to, require a greater reward, right? Rather than that of, not really having to put any effort into anything and, bullshitting and just kind of, going along, going along to get along type mentality. That ain't rewarding, at all. That's how these people in the world move, right? But Yahweh Shemel Shai saw fit that we are not to walk on that broad and wide path, but this straight and narrow path, right? Which is a blessing, right? It's truly a blessing, but it is hard, right? You go into that word straight, and I've gone into this before when I'm going to bring it out again, right? Just again, expound on the severity of this path and how we have to continue on this path having a good mind to the Lord, right? It says straight meaning, right? It says number 2, used in reference to a situation characterized by a specific degree of trouble or difficulty, right? It's going to be trouble, right? You're gonna be going through some shit, right? Especially in the times to come, right? That is going to be harder, right? As we approach those times, right? And start to get into that transition into those times, hey, it's only going to get tougher, right? And these situations, right, aren't always easy to deal with, right? They can be stressful, right? When you drop down to Latin, right, it says the origin, Latin, strictest, drawn tight, right? I was looking up that word stress, right, on the online etymology, and it says hardship, adversity, right, constraining or compelling force or pressure, right? You feeling that pressure, buddy. As you look down right there in the highlight, it says from Latin, strictus, right? So it's the same Latin word, right, as, the word straight, right? It says tight, compressed, draw together, right? So by default, by definition, right, that word straight is synonymous with stress. So we're going to be going through it, man. Dealing with stressful situations consistently. But see, again, in those situations, we got to keep, our mind on Yahweh Shem Shai, and get into these scriptures, man, right? Which will ultimately allow for that comfort, that reprieve within our mind, right? As we are dealing with these situations, right? Which brings me to, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, and verse 8. I actually started verse 1. It says, wisdom teacheth, it's like wisdom reacheth from one end to another mightily, and sweetly does she order all things. So this right here is, King Solomon, right, speaking about, wisdom, Sophia, right? But the point is, I'm going to drop down in verse 9. It says, therefore I purpose to take her to me. Verse 9. Therefore I purposed to take her to me to live with me, knowing that she would be a counselor of good things and a comfort in cares and griefs. Right? So as we continue to go through these different things, and we lean on Yahweh Shem Shai, we get into the word. We get into the scriptures, man. Which will again allow us to, because in whatever situation you're in, you can find it in the scriptures, man. Right? How to deal with people in the world, right? The book of Sirach, how to they take care of your body, right? Medicines out of the earth, how to deal with family members, right? All these different situations are in the scriptures, man. All these different situations, the Lord, teaches us, right? How we're, as the scriptures say, right? Instructions in righteousness, right? Teach us how to follow, right? After righteousness to please Yahweh Shem Shai, right? Which, when doing so, the Lord will ultimately, again, like take those, those things away from you, man, that you stop worrying about them, right? Because we understand that this shit is of this world, man. Right, it's not the way that things are supposed to be, right? Which ultimately allows for, a feeling of comfort, knowing that Yahweh Shem Shai is going to undo this shit, right? We know what's coming, man. They say this ain't going to be, like this forever, right? Having to constantly be in the bullshit, having to constantly deal with bullshit, right? 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 17, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. Right? So as we continue to go through these things and, remain that good soldier in this fight, hey, it's only going to, again, allow for more and more blessings, because we are continuing to fight to serve and to please Yahweh Shem Shai. And there's a reward in doing that. You know? It says, verse 18, it says, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen, right? Yahweh Shem Shai, the kingdom to come. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Like these things that are here, man, including again these trash ass bodies, right? Dealing with bullshit, and all that shit finna be done away with, man. You know? But until then, we have to continue to fight through it. You know? And I'll go ahead and grab this. What is this? 2, 3, is that 5 or 6? Let's see. Come on now. I'm trying to click search bar. Right. Con. Yeah, 1 Timothy 6 and 12. Right here, I saw first in 1 Timothy 6 and 11. But thou, O man of the Most High, flee these things, and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, meekness. Fight the good fight of faith, lay hold on eternal life, whereunto thou art also called, and hast professed a good profession before many witnesses. Right, man. I continue to fight, continue to follow right after righteousness, follow after Yahweh Shemel Shai, push through, right? These tribulations and afflictions, man. Right? Know that Yahweh Shemel Shai has got our back. Right? As long as we continue to, seek Yahweh Shemel Shai through his word, right? We're gonna be good. He's gonna sustain us, man, in these times. But that's all I got, man. Lord wills, edifying, Lord will straight to the point. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Merchakodash, double honors to the elder apostles, elder bishops, elders. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect. Shalom.